as well. But I had to come up with if there are indeed 3 bullies, which I believe there are. There might be 4.
While you're listing them off, I'm gonna see if I can
pull it up, Brandon. We need to determine how many bullies there are.
I actually have the disc playing in the background, so I'm going to just skip ahead.
Well, they're going to confirm this for us, but let me go down the list as we talk about it. So 5 people died in Old Chief Woodenhead, the old couple, and then the 3 crooks.
4 bullies.
4. Oh, see, okay, I was right.
Oh, there you go.
4 people died in the raft because all 4 teenagers die. 2 die in Hitchhiker, the hitchhiker and the driver, the woman who killed him. And then we have 4 who died in the wraparound, the animated segment. 4 bullies, so that brings us to a total of 15 deaths.
Ooh, I was going to say 15.
Yep. I said 11, and then we added the bullies, so you have 15.
Right. And then we have 30 so far in the franchise.
Oh, boy.
So.
Perfect.
Hefty death count in this franchise. Awesome. Now, Marcelo, not knowing that there's a 3rd Creepshow coming along here.
Oh, boy.
Is this movie series fatigued at this point? Is this franchise fatigued?
See, that's the thing. I can say this is, for what it is, one of my favorite movies of all time. Not just horror movies, just overall movies. Right? But I have to say, you can see the decline already in budget, in actual stories being told. I mean, I love that Romero was on board to at least write this script, but he didn't direct. So, just as I step back and look at it, I can say yes, there's some fatigue there. Mm-hmm. If I had no idea Creepshow 3 was a thing, I wouldn't put too much money in Creepshow 3 being good. Just comparing these 2 movies and the trajectory. Chances were slim that Creepshow 3 was going to be good.
Without saying anything, if you answer yes to this, so say nothing. Have you seen Creepshow 3?
I'll just say I've seen the opening 20 minutes, okay. And I won't say why.
And he didn't finish watching it.
No, there could be any number of reasons why I finished watching it, but
very true.
I've seen some of it.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, Zach. What do you think? Is this franchise fatigued at this point?
Oh, no, I don't think so at all. I mean, from my perspective, it's improved quite a bit from the first film. So I'd like to see I'm sure a 3rd one will come out just a few years later, and it'll be the same style, and it'll be great. It'll fit right on the shelf with these first 2 in style and substance. So I'm looking forward to a 3rd one.
Excellent. Yeah, me too. At this point, this franchise is alive and well. They're doing great work. They're doing the Lord's work here, I think, for sure. So I think we should definitely keep up with it.
So then the final question is, what would you give Creepshow 2 out of 5 creeps, Marcelo?
5 out of 5 for me. It's a vicious little movie that it's like pulpy smut that you buy at a store and they put in a brown paper bag and you just sneak away with it. It's crawled in my head. Those images still haunt me. For 90 minutes, for a 90-minute movie, it feels rich in gore and character and scares. So yeah, 5 out of 5, a perfect little horror movie for me.
Awesome. Well, this one's declined a little bit for me. I still love it, and I think prior to watching it, I probably would have given it a 5. Marcelo, just behind the scenes, I've made the new determination that I'm only giving whole star ratings on movies. But I'm just going to give this a 4 this time around. But that doesn't mean that I don't love it. I still do love it. I think it's just a few problematic aspects of looking back on this film from a modern lens is what drops it 1 star for me. So, but this is definitely something I would watch anytime because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, as for me, I'm going to give it 4.5. I am still giving half stars, unlike Brandon. So it's going to get a half star for me. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a movie that I would pull out, every Halloween season or something. Yeah. And especially tell people if they hadn't seen it, you got to see Creepshow 2. It's great, because there's enough here where there's not any crazy phobias like cockroaches that'll throw people off, and I just think they're really smart. They had limited resources, and I think they're really smart with them. How they brought to life. They have how do you do an inanimate object statue come to life? How do you do a blob in the lake trying to kill you come to life? Creepy hitchhiker zombie guy, right? They're focused, they're effective. And I think there's some great scares and spooks in Creepshow 2. So 4.5 out of 5 creeps for me.
Excellent. Marcelo, thank you so much for joining us for this discussion on one of your favorite movies of all time. I'm really glad to have you on because we do love people who champion these films, but it is fun sometimes to have people have a negative take on it, but I don't think anybody can have a really negative take on this movie. But I think this movie is a whole lot of fun, and I'm glad you were here. So, Marcelo, please tell everybody where they can find you on the social medias.
Yeah. First off, thanks for having me on this episode in particular, and this whole series. And you can find me, you know what? Follow Talk From Society. Forget me. I'm okay. Talk From Society is where it's at. Follow us on Twitter at TalkFilmSOC. Read us, listen to us, love us. Go to our Patreon, patreon.com/TalkFilmSociety for bonus stuff. But yeah, follow the site. Follow our work. We do good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you so much. Zach, where can people find you when you're not trying to hitch a ride?
You can find me personally on Twitter at MoronZach. That's MOOREONZACH. I'm also the host of my own podcast, Always Hold On to Smallville. We talk about each and every episode of that Young Superman show over there. You can find us on Twitter at Always Smallville with 1 S. And Brandon, when you aren't... so many ways I could go. We'll just say when you're not scalping people, where can people find you? Yeah.
When I'm not admiring my hair. You can find me on Twitter at Brandon Matella. You can find me over on Trek FM with a show called The Line, which is all about Star Trek Picard. And you can find me over on the Fandom Podcast Network, as well as in our own independent feed with a show called Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast, where my friends Chris and Tom and we cover all of Hitch's films in chronological order. Well, that's all we've got for you this time. Until next time, boils and ghouls, when we cover Creepshow 3. Stay scared.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.